Well, this last recording that I've called A here, S1493A, St. Francis, well, obviously the association with the birds. If you listen, there's possibly a conversation going on, and I think it's between the adult and the babies. They're responding to each other, and as the recording goes on, you find there's a deep bird sound in the distance, and that seems to be, I think they're relating to the dominant song that you can hear. Bird singing. Well, song is perhaps the wrong word. It's talking, isn't it? It's a sort of communication, and I'm not sure how much it's communicating to who. Not my purpose, but the recording seemed to coincide too with reading something that I'd read in the past, some long time back now, about a little white bird that was very significant to a couple in America. Very touching story. I'm not sure I could find out the details of it, but I doubt you would track it down. And also, a friend of mine who had a dream about a bird. Did she have a dream as well? But also was watering the garden, not in a dream. And this bird was seeming to want to just be close to her. And she picked the bird up in the end and held it and wasn't sure what to do. I mean, is the bird not well and needs protection and help? And how do you care for and protect for what we think of as a wild bird? And she held it for some considerable time, apparently, she was telling me. And then it took her, so to speak, to open her hand and let the bird just fly off, perhaps, and did. And I think she was greatly relieved because didn't know really how to care for the bird, of course. But what a lovely experience. When we come into contact with very sophisticated nature, isn't it? A creature, not just a plant. Not that I wish to dismiss plants, but and we can relate to little creature and feel a great empathy and concern for their welfare. Isn't it lovely? Just lovely. It's something of the goodness of God in us, isn't it? A communication between life. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Thank you, Dad. Oh, of course, it occurs to me I'd like to mention the fact my logo, I use, I was in Memorial Park here in Hamilton some years ago now, and feeding the birds in the children's little girl was there and my then wife. And the birds settled on my hand, on my arms and shoulders and so on. And I think they landed on my hat at one point, on my head. And I said to my wife, take a picture, can you? She took a few. And I use that now in the YouTube logo. It's my St. Francis photo, isn't it? I mean, we were so taken by the loveliness of this, that how we can relate to what we think of as wild creatures. There's a loveliness, isn't there? I mean, obviously I'm helping them, I'm feeding them, but you don't often get birds just landing on you, do you? A moment to be treasured. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. I'll just add that the story about the bird I was referring to was in Divine Interventions by Dan Millman and Doug Childers. I've mentioned that book before in recordings. And let me see if I can give you some idea of the story. It's about a chap who loved birds, and this is one of many stories, of course. This one's on page 44. Starts there, and it was a chap who loved birds. This particular story. I say story, I mean it's an account, of course. You know, he even dreamt of himself as a bird from time to time. Loved birds as a kid and so on. And his business card, what we would call the logo on it, I suppose, included himself, a caricature of himself as a bird, it says here. After his death, apparently, his wife had a vivid dream where he held out his hand to her, and in it was a small white bird, a dream gift for his sweetheart. Well, at some point he died, of course, and sorry for the garbled version of the story. You do much better reading it, by the way. She and I think the daughter, not sure, went out onto the hillside where his ashes were scattered, and out of land there. And it's described there was this, on the farthest boulder there was near it sat a large, beautiful, pure white bird, gazing directly at them. And it says, I'll read a bit to you. Immediately the bird flew onto the closer rock, only a few feet from Alison. On impulse she reached out her hand and made a come here gesture. With a hop and a flutter the bird flew into Alison's lap. Instinctively she felt that the bird was a message from Boyd, a deceased fella, like the white bird in the palm of his hand in her dream, and the white bird that his daughter brought to her from his belongings. A little, not actually a bird, you know. In that moment she felt a profound shift in her grieving process. A torn place in her soul had begun to mend. It seemed that somehow Boyd had sent this bird as an emissary of comfort and a way to say farewell, evidence that his spirit was alive and as free as a bird. Well, apparently she spent 45 minutes stroking the bird, and it followed her to the car and so on, and went home with them. And well, various things had happened, but by 1998 the white bird, now called Birdie, still lives with Alison a part of the family. Apparently the bird was something called a great American king dove. And let me read to you the last paragraph. Birdie, a divine gift from Boyd, revealed to Alison more clearly than ever that the universe is a mysterious place, and that death is not the end of life or love. Isn't that beautiful? You might want to track down the book. Bless you. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.